I went right back to it. And the delusion in my head was that these painkillers make me better. At the time, like Lil Wayne was really getting big.
Sure.
And so I was like, Wheezy has cough syrup and Snoop Dogg smokes weed and like I have OC80s. Like that was my delusion, right?
Welcome back to the Hopeaholics Podcast. I'm your girl, Natalie Eva Marie.
And I'm Chad Carlson, and you're listening to the #1 addiction and mental health podcast.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the movement.
We are proudly sponsored by the Infinity Group.
And you guys, if you or a loved one is struggling, make sure you head to askevamarie.com or chattic.com and chat with one of our AI companions 24/7.
Or text the number right here on the screen.
Together, we are breaking the stigma around addiction and mental health.
And fighting the fentanyl epidemic.
Now, let's get into the episode.
Let's try something different today. You want to?
It.
All right, Wade, welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast. How was that?
How is that different?
Huh? I did it a little bit more exciting than I normally do.
Oh.
That's our intro. Have you ever seen the intro of our podcast?
Yeah.
It's not professional.
Which is great. It's you guys. It's real.
Yeah. All right, we've got Wade here from Plugged In Recovery, and he has developed an amazing program out in Arizona. I don't know how to be professional. Do you?
Yeah, that was horrible.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just be normal.
All right.
I thought it was great.
Thanks. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
See, somebody gives me some validation.
I'll hype you up.
Yeah, hype me up. You ready? How much more? You haven't read his whole profile
I already know
yet?
everything about Wade.
I know. That's the problem.
I just like this up because Emily does a very really good job, and I might as well use it.
But for real, Wade, welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast. This is how we start the podcast.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
We've been on yours,
Yes.
and we appreciate you coming out here to be on ours.
It's a dream come true. I get to just hang out with friends, you know?
True.
That's when it's fun. I get to see you guys' facilities, beautiful center here. We got to go get the tour, and the cool thing is seeing how you guys interact with the clients, because that's what I'm about too, and to see you guys being real people who, you know, boots on the ground, chopping wood, carrying water. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And it just ended up working out perfect that two of the ladies knew me at the other when we did the tour, that they wanted to chit chat
Came
with
up
me.
and just
Yeah, it's like, man, it usually doesn't work out like that. That was good stuff. You know, that's why I say God is good, man.
all the time.
Yep. He plugs in. A little play off of the plugged in. He plugs in. You know, when we plug in.
Puts the right people in the right spots.
Yeah.
At the right time.
At the right time.
That's actually literally, I do want to tell you guys, that statement that you guys just said is in the book Good to Great.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not talking about God, but he's talking about a level 5 leader does what you guys just said. And God is a level 5. God's a level 10 leader. And, you know, we get to get
God
that
is a limitless leader.
unlimitless, infinite.
No, limitless, not unlimitless. Just limitless.
Well, hey, man. How's it going?
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. Beautiful California weather. A nice break from the Phoenix heat. Get to come hang out with friends, see the beach, see your guys' facility. The best part about you guys, like I said, is, you know, just your people. You're real. You get down in the trenches, are with clients. Natalie, walking through the building, calling everybody by first name. It's just, I respect it. And that's how we try to be at Plugged In Recovery. You know, 7 years ago, I was homeless in Arizona. Now today I'm a CEO of a company, and it had nothing to do with me. Like you said, God was working in my life, putting the right people in the right places at the right time. But I get to do that today. You know, I get to have hope for other people and show them what exactly is possible if they're willing to just take the right steps forward. And, you know, recovery it's for everyone. It's not just some people deserve recovery. Everybody deserves recovery. And what I found is that, you know, through a little bit of that work, people get to write the comeback story of recovery. And I love to be a part of that comeback story.
I mean, the comeback story is the best part, man. It's like, you have no idea what some of us have done.
We'll make sure the mic is like on.
Me?
Yep, exactly. Right, Emily? only right, Lewis.
Yeah. Dude, she is such a pro.
I mean, her whole entire head is in my shot, so.
Which is okay. They see you every episode.
I stopped.
I think that's okay.
Are you gonna mark that shit? Okay. The comeback story, dude, because you never know. Like, I wouldn't have known that the vice president of Camping World was a recovering meth addict. You know, like Camping World.
I had no idea.
I didn't either until our friend Amber reached out to us and said, hey, I was talking to the vice president of Camping World, and I think he'd be a good fit for your podcast. So we had him on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
And
you just never know.
You never know.
Like, we can do incredible things when we stop drinking and using. And that's why, for me, it became important to recover out loud, because I want people to know that you can do anything you set your mind to, and you can exceed anything that you far beyond anything you ever imagined. Like, I mean, I say this like, I'm not joking at all. I never actually thought that I would have a podcast. The treatment center, all of that's been super dope, but I never thought I'd have a podcast where I was hosting with, you know, a reality TV star and a WWE superstar. I really never thought that. Like, when I started the podcast, I never thought this was going to be. I was hoping someday I would have some celebrities on the podcast when I started it, but I didn't know I was going to have a celebrity hosting it with me.
Which is, I mean, and it's the miracle, like you said, is God working a comeback story of different types just on you, of coming from a tragedy.
Yeah.
Something that took place that absolutely rocked your entire family, that unfortunately is rocking families all across the United States daily. And being able to take something out of that tragedy that will never be made right or whole or anything like that. But the comeback of taking that story to help so many other people, that is the essence of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it doesn't discriminate. That's what, like, why it's so important for podcasts like this to exist. You having your podcast and people being able to, like, share their experience, strength, and hope, is because the biggest fallacy is that, well, addiction isn't one type fits all type thing. You know, you think you have this thing in your brain of, like, oh, poor thing, or they're homeless underneath a bridge. I mean, that's where a lot of people end up going, because that's where the addiction takes them. But there's this awesome story from I believe his name is Scott Cochran, I believe. He just came public. He was a former strength and conditioning coach for Alabama.
Yep, I saw it on ESPN yesterday.
Yep, he's dope, because you wouldn't think he had it all, from just being in the mix of married, kids, awesome job. The team was killing it. He was very good at his job. And then he had migraines, and then ended up, like a lot of people end up going to their doctors. They get prescribed. He ended up getting prescribed OxyContin. And then you hear so many times with people coming into recovery of, like, kind of similar. It doesn't have to start when you're, like, a kid or in this darkness at an early age. He was already old and killing the game. The strength and conditioning coach for Alabama football.
Mm-hmm.
So SEC titles.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Wow.
Working with Nick Saban.
Got addicted to OxyContin.
And then ended up buying, fast forward, his addiction needed more. He was ending up taking 25 pills a day. His wife caught him. He OD'd. They brought him Narcan, took him to the hospital, woke up 2 days later, but ended up going to treatment. Didn't want to tell anybody, because why? The stigma. Yep. You don't want people to think that you're broken or that you're weak or whatever, that lies that you tell yourself. And then he ends up going back. He ends up coaching, I can't remember what other team he started for. I think it was like Georgia. I believe.
Okay.
Didn't know that he was an addict. Anyways, COVID hits, spirals again. He gets out of treatment and then ends up doing okay, picks up again. And then it led him into buying them off the streets, which, as we all know, why this podcast exists, is the fentanyl epidemic that's going out there. And he was buying fentanyl. But by the grace of God, now he is sober. I think he has like over 7 months or something like that. Or no, 18 by now. I think that the story is out. But he talked, and now he is an actual head coach of a D2 school in West Alabama, I think, right? But he talks about to the youth the severity of addiction, where it doesn't discriminate. It will get you at any moment, at any time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the guy with the needle in his arm. It's someone going for a torn ACL or a torn meniscus or whatever. You go and your doctor prescribes you stuff, and then you can grab you, and then good luck getting off that terrible vicious cycle. So now his whole thing is bringing his own journey into the younger men's lives, letting them know, like, hey, if you have a problem or if you need help, reach out, pick up the phone. I'm just like one of you guys. And I think that's huge.
I absolutely love that. And I think it's something, no different than you, Chad, or you, Nat. It's just, I find with me, and if I go through my entire story and countless relapses, I didn't get this my first try in any way, shape, or form, but purpose today is the rent that I pay for my sobriety. Mm-hmm. It's going out there and helping other people, not just selfishly getting sober for everything that I can get out of life, but because I could be doing so many different things, right? I was good at a lot of things. Obviously, you had a very successful career, but that turning to purpose, it frees me and I feel so much better every single day. And it makes sobriety not hard to do when you're going out there and helping other people. It's fun. I think recovering out loud is so important because people need to learn that recovery can be this beautiful, awesome thing that you get to be a part of God's miracles every single day. You get to watch it happen.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack Bags. This gear is meant for anybody, gym, lifestyle, to anybody that's on the move. I mean, I like to say that us here and everybody that tunes in, we're not average. We're always a wolf. They have all the goods that you need, especially for anybody that is looking for a bag to carry their meal prep, a lunch pail, anything like that. They have you covered. So once again, go to wolfpack.com, use the code Hopeaholics, save 10%, and join the pack.
The original, I always, when we talk about Recover Out Loud, I like to talk about the spiritual principle of anonymity, which is one of the spiritual principles in the traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that was set up for many different reasons back in the beginning. One, to not give Alcoholics Anonymous a black eye. We all know today that Alcoholics Anonymous actually works if you work it, and if you don't, it won't. Yep. If you don't work it, it won't work. So the people that tell you it doesn't work, it's because they haven't actually worked it. I will say that. But there's a spiritual, the other part of the anonymity in Alcoholics Anonymous is that we don't have a last name, right? So I walk into a room of Alcoholics Anonymous and my last name is the same as yours. My name is Chad and I'm an alcoholic. And it doesn't matter if I was a bum on the street or a judge, a Supreme Court judge, a superior court judge. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. We're exactly the same. Mm-hmm. And that's the spirit of the spiritual principle of anonymity, is that we are all the same, regardless of race, religion, creed, money, lack of money, all of that. What we have done in the past, how much or how little we have is what they say in Narcotics Anonymous. So there's that part. Recovering out loud is like, hey man, you can do this too. We are basing this still on attraction rather than promotion. And but now that we have all this social media and stuff, mm-hmm. we get to show people that it works. But we also, there is that worry, right? What if you relapse in the public eye? So what? So what? Let somebody see that this disease is real and that you can fall and you can get back up. Because my relapse was in the public eye of our industry, maybe not in the public eye of the general population, but our industry saw me fall, and they saw me fall hard. And I got a lot of backlash from it and a lot of heat from it. When we actually talked about it on your podcast. And today, man, I'm like, and that pushed me into being quiet about my recovery until my son-in-law died. And
which
now
is
it's
good,
like,
though, because that's a big thing too, is like, don't worry about the other guy because people are going to talk. And the thing is like, who are anybody to judge anybody? Because we're all humans and we all have some type of character defects for sure. Anybody that says that they don't is lying. And the only one that should be you living for it, to me, is God. And so what did he do? Put his head down and went to work. And that's what everybody should do. Same thing for like athletes. I relate to a lot of stuff to sports, and you're a former ball player. So, it's like, if people are going to talk about it, you can't talk about somebody that's actually putting it up.
Yep.
And like doing it, like Kobe is a perfect example of that. He was shooting baskets in the dark while people were sleeping. So he went to work after everybody wanted to talk about, because, you know, that's a big thing to have own treatment facilities and then you yourself relapse. I mean, that alone is going to have people love to talk negative about somebody. It's very difficult for humans to praise somebody. But then obviously through a tragedy, all of a sudden it woke up a beast. And thank God, because if it didn't, I wouldn't be here and neither would you. Because we'd be doing something. Who knows? I'm sure we'd be okay in our own personal sobriety journeys, but it brought us together to talk about what we're talking about today, you know?
Which is the synchronicity of it all. And you going through that in the public eye and, you know, that humility and ego and everything else that just gets smashed out. I mean, God probably had that plan for you. And recovering out loud, I agree with you. I understand and respect the synchronicity of just an anonymity in general. But the biggest thing is, if you're not out there showing that you can get sober, you can come back from things like that, that might not be the message that somebody else didn't hear that day, and now they're not going to get sober.
And they needed to hear.
And they needed to hear how they could do that.
Because there's only a window of opportunity, man, for people like us that our ears are open enough, and then when they're open enough, it's like there's only a window of opportunity to get those people the help that they deserve. You know, that we were all gifted. You know, that gift. I want to jump into your story, man, and like where you grew up, what it was like for you growing up, and all the way to where you got to your disease, and then we'll go from there. But I want to hear the first little bit of your life.
Yeah, so I mean, nothing crazy about my story. You know, two parents who absolutely loved and adored me. I never went without. A lot of things that I can be grateful for today. What I understand is from a very early age, I had this disease. It just showed itself in other ways. But if there was anything, I mean, if it was Pogs, Pokemon cards, grape Kool-Aid, if I liked it, I did it to an extent. And I had this ability to, you know, be in a classroom, or whether it was, and it turned to sports later on, but I could be in a classroom or I could be in childcare, whatever it was, and I would obsess about something outside of there. I would obsess about, you know, whether it was Pokemon cards or if it was like basketball, like running plays in my head, and I could be in a room but not be in the room. And it luckily turned to sports at a young age, and so that became my addiction. Is I just, you know, pats on the back of good old boys, right? Which taught me a lot of bad habits as well as the good habits. Taught me a lot about ego, a lot about pride, a lot about you know, if you will your way out of any situation, you put your mind to it, you work hard enough, like you can do it, which later on became, you know, very detrimental to someone who's trying to get sober. But very normal childhood. I went to, you know, Little League World Series. I got to do a lot of that cool stuff.
I was watching that just recently because it's going on right now.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So we had Babe Ruth where I was from. So it was like the Babe Ruth World Series, same thing. So I had a lot of success in those areas. Got through middle school, no problems at all. My sophomore year, I was a starting quarterback, and I had taken a shot to the stomach as I was throwing a ball. And the guy actually threw my spleen into my spine.
Oh, wow.
And so I ended up in the hospital, which is where I had painkillers for the first time. And I had thought, this is exactly what I needed. Now the anxiety, the what does everybody think about me goes out the window. Why I, at that time, I think really drew to it more than anything, because I believe people, number one, are born with this disease, and I think trauma sets it off. So not only was that injury pretty traumatic, but at the exact same time, my dad comes out as being a meth addict. So my parents go through this divorce. Obviously, like I said, I never had parents who abused me, anything like that. I had two parents who all they did wrong was just love me too much. But in that, they loved me too much where they both fought for me. And my mom's saying my dad's a meth addict. My dad's, you know, don't be with my mom. And so my junior year in high school, for, you know, 6 months out of the year, I ended up in foster care and group homes as my parents were duking it out in court. And so as someone who's a starting quarterback and basketball player and baseball player, I didn't know what humility looked like, but I certainly found out what humiliation felt like. And in that process, I had now opiates, and I turned to opiates that much more. And it really just kind of took off from there. That was kind of the start of it all.
Where did you go after high school?
So after high school,
Are you the only kid?
No, I have an older sister.
Okay.
Who doesn't
Normie?
have this disease.
Yeah.
Very normie.
I know, it's so wild. That's fascinating. His family's the same. He's the only mess up.
Yeah. The black sheep. The black sheep. I just got lucky that my dad was also in it too.
Yeah.
So that I mean,
which is why
help.
it's so interesting to me, because usually the father's gene is like prominent. So like I'm shocked that it would skip your sister when it comes to like genetics, you know.
Yeah.
I think it falls into like what you said as well. I do think that some people are like literally born with it, and then sometimes it spins off from trauma or like a situation where they get prescribed, and then it just like fucking ignites something in the brain, and then you're off to the races.
And that's exactly, and it's weird because, you know, what I really I de-identify with her is the fact that, you know, she can have a drink and leave some in the glass. What she identifies with that I do is she had a pretty nasty car accident she was in, got on painkillers, stuff like that, where felt a little physically addicted to them. But she feels even the hint of dope sick one time, and it's like, I'm never doing those things again.
Yeah.
Right? For me, it doesn't matter how many times I go through that. I know the quick answer for that is more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that fascinating?
It
does.
is
It
wild.
blows my mind.
So after when all this was going on, did you continue playing football, starting quarterback? Did you continue playing your other sports?
Yeah, I went right back to it, and the delusion in my head was that these painkillers make me better.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, like Lil Wayne was really getting big,
sure.
and so I was like, Wheezy has
Mm-hmm.
cough syrup, and
Mm-hmm.
Snoop Dogg smokes weed, and like I have OC80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my delusion, right? And in baseball, which was like my favorite sport,
Yeah.
it in my head truly made me better because I could throw a little harder because I was looser.
Mm-hmm.
I could throw more innings because my arm didn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And like the next day I could pop a couple more and I could come right back out. But the reality was my accuracy wasn't the same, and I'd walk more people. The
Mm-hmm.
pitches weren't the exact same, but in my head I was like, no, you don't understand. Like these make me better.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on to college. I played a little bit of college ball at actually SCTC in St. Cloud. Stayed in my hometown. Should have went off to school. Didn't go off to school. Wanted to stay in my hometown, which, of course, my suppliers, everything I wanted was in my hometown, right? And, you know, it just all went downhill from there because I had this excuse that I was playing and I needed it for baseball and that nature. And now I'm drinking where all my boys are bouncers at the bars. They're all letting me in. They're all, you know, people, because I played sports, they were all older than me all the time. So now they're 21, they're working in the bars, I'm getting served, all of those things. And got through school. I ended up going down to the cities. I started playing some amateur baseball down there. Same excuse kicks in, right? Is like, I have to take these for baseball. I have to take these for baseball. But come to find out that every time I try stopping, I'm getting like deathly sick, right? The withdrawals are happening. Sure enough, I have a friend who one day when these OCs kind of went away, all of a sudden had this powder, and he said, don't worry, it's just synthetic oxy. And I took it and I could tell it was different, but I liked it. You know, anything I had, I wanted more of. And so I started doing that. And actually at the time I'd shared some with my ex-fiance. She was just a girlfriend, but she did it and got really sick and didn't want to ever do it again. But I kept doing it. And about 90 days goes by and I'm doing it almost every day. And we're at a party and I'm waiting for a guy to kind of go pick it up for me. And his friend goes, you realize you're doing heroin, right? And I was like, no, this is just synthetic oxy. And he's like, no, it's heroin. When he comes back, huff it. It'll tar up. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened. And I'll never forget, dude, I punched the guy in the face. Like, how could you do this to me? But then begged him to give it to me still. So it was just, I was in way deeper than I ever wanted to be, ever than I thought I would be. That wasn't the blueprint of how I thought my life should look. But there I was in the middle of it and didn't really see a way out.
Just so our audience is clear, heroin is not synthetic at all.
No. Definitely not.
Not synthetic. It comes from the poppy plant.
Yes. I found that out later, unfortunately. But yeah, then I was hooked on it. And, you know, I would go in spouts where I would try to get on and off of it. Fast forward, my dad is now sober.
Okay.
So now he's the guy who's trying to give me all this life advice. And I'm like, dude, you did meth and like started this whole thing. And I went to, just all the victim mentality, and all he was trying to do was help. But I didn't want anything to do with what he wanted. And AA was working for him. So I wanted to steer way out of AA.
Sure.
Not to mention I had to go to a meeting at one point, and I just felt like I was riding the short bus to school, you know? And I wanted no part of what they had going on. Different than, they wouldn't understand me better than all the same stuff we hear. But meanwhile, I'm doing all the same things that an addict does. I'm driving to shoddy parts of town, nodding out, passing out in my car. Every time I drink alcohol, when I'm going to like these networking events and stuff, I'm pissing myself every single time, right? But yet I'm better than, you don't understand. So I'm about to get married. Not now, at the time.
Okay.
I got engaged, about to get married, high school sweetheart all the way up.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, I got to clean up my act. And just like anything else in sports, anytime I put my mind towards something, I was able to do it. So in my head, I had this like deadline of things. Like by 22, I'll do this. By 26, I'll do that. And
how old were you at this time?
So I was 25 years old when I got engaged. And I get engaged, and in my head, I'm thinking I got 2 years to like, now I bought myself time, because her parents were kind of like, what are you going to do, bro? Like, shit or get off the pot?
Yeah.
And so I was like, cool. Like, I'll ask her to marry me. I'll do it all cute. It's going to give me about 2 years to like clean up my act, because nobody wants to be a heroin addict, you know? And
did she know the severity of your problem, or
no,
did you hide it?
No idea. Hid it.
So she had no idea.
No idea.
Oh, nice.
Whatsoever.
Wow.
She knew I did some like Vicodin and stuff once in a while, but like never even, didn't know I was smoking off foils or anything like that.
So at this point, you're still semi holding it together from like the outside looking in.
Yeah. It's just, he's, a guy with just terrible stomach issues and can't poop, and like has to, be in the bathroom for an hour at a time, and likes long hot showers. Just some weird oddities, but no idea what was going on.
Yeah, those are all things that you could put on your little profiles. Likes long walks on the beach. Romantic. Stomach problems. Long hot showers. Alone.
Yeah.
Wow, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So but regardless, she was a third grade teacher, and had no idea whatsoever. So I'm thinking I have this 2 years to plan this whole thing out. It's 2025 now. So not all little girls, some little girls are the type of little girls who have their wedding planned out since they're 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me. She was one of these little girls. Right. So when I thought I had 2 years, it was I had like 10 months tops. Mm-hmm. Venue was picked out. Dress was like, I was just like, oh fuck. So I had to put this thing into overdrive to try to sober up. And I actually flew down to Arizona over Thanksgiving. My parents kind of knew what was up. They detoxed me on the couch. And that was the first time I really tried to kind of detox. I lasted 1 day when I got back to Minnesota, and I was back to being high again. I started reading books. I was reading all these leadership books. I went to see Eric Thomas and Les Brown and all these motivational speakers that make you want to run through a fucking brick wall. But the reality was, as soon as I got back to my hometown, I was just running to the dope dealer's house.
Yeah.
And we ended up going on this long trip out to, and it was again just one big conundrum by me of saying, hey, like, let's take a pre-honeymoon. Things are about to get crazy. Thinking again, if I can get a week away, I just need a week away, I'll be able to get sober. And I drink the whole time, but I remember I came back and it was Easter morning. We flew back in, and we were going to our hometown to go to church. And it's like 5 a.m, and I'm just bawling my eyes out on the way to the drug dealer's house, because like I didn't want to pick up, but I had to. I had to pick up. Like I couldn't keep going like I was going. And so right before our wedding, she's about to go on her bachelorette party. I have my bachelor party like the next weekend, and it's a week before we're both going on our trips, and my dope dealer gets popped. And so I get sick, and I end up scoring some uppers, and I am not an upper guy. my dad was an upper guy, so I always thought I was better than, and I was a downer guy, and went that route. But I got wiggy, we'll just call it, in our condo. She came back. We rented on the Redbox, the movie Beauty and the Beast. Disney was doing all their remakes of movies, and like when real life, it looked real life. Well, if anybody knows the Beauty and the Beast story, if you don't, I can tell you really quickly, right? Belle and Beast, they fall in love. But everything in this movie talks and sings. The lamps talk and sing, the candles talk and sing, the teacups talk and sing, everything talks and sing. So I watched this movie, and when you've been up for 5 or 6 days, like not the movie to watch, because she leaves for the weekend for her bachelorette party, and I flip this house upside down. Lamps are talking and singing, and like everything. She comes in, and blankets are nailed over windows. God. And dude, this poor girl, right? It's like I said, she had no idea. So when she came into that, it was like, I'm caught. Yeah. Like, you can't explain this one away.
Oh my
Hell yeah, to the uppers. I don't know what uppers you were using, but if it was meth, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to be. He's like putting blankets up on a wall.
This is good stuff. This is right down my alley. Were you working for anybody? Was the FBI looking?
They were
for
out
you?
that van.
Yeah,
right?
the van was out there.
That's what I was telling her. Is I was like, you don't get it. This van's after me, and it's been out there, and she's wigging out, and she's calling now like my dad, who's sober, being like, he's on something, and
he's like, yes, he is.
Yeah, yes, he's definitely on
for
something,
sure.
Right? Looking in the peephole, like shadow people are running around.
Oh yeah, they're out there,
Oh
man. They really are out there. I just want the world to know shadow people do exist.
Yeah.
You just can't see them until you get enough meth in you and up enough days.
Yes.
Call for help.
Right, Emily?
They're not out there.
They are out there, guys.
It was scary stuff. And like for someone like me, I had never experienced anything like that. So it just like, you know, when you see it, but you know you're crazy, but you know you're not crazy at the same time. So it was definitely not fun. But needless to say, it was a month and 2 weeks before our wedding, and I had to go into treatment. And so I flew down to Arizona. I went to treatment for the first time, all the while just believing my own delusions that everything's going to be fine. I'm going to get out of treatment, and we're going to get married and like move on from this. And I got a letter while I was in treatment that the wedding was called off. Now, of course, selfish, self-centered me is, oh, I can't believe you would do this to me. I've always been there for you. Everything that you've ever wanted, I've done. This is the first time I've ever asked you for any help or support or anything like that. And mind you, because I work a program and I get through this part later, I can look back at it and say, dude, I was in treatment working on myself. And this girl was canceling a wedding she was planning since she was 9. You know, so that's something that I get to see today and look at and make amends for and do that type of deal. But not one of my proudest moments for sure. And then that starts the treatment trend where it's in and out of treatment centers, detox, Reeboks. You know, I have the sticky stocks on, kept in the bag, and it got really dark. That's when I ended up getting homeless. And dude, just not a fun place.
Did you go back to your opiates after you got out?
Yeah, so I
you didn't stay with the uppers.
No, not an uppers guy. Like I said,
the paranoia and. So that just wasn't a good time for you?
Not for me. Even when I was homeless, I was just like, dude, I don't really want to fuck with these, because it just one time and I immediately go into paranoia and everything else.
Yeah.
When you became homeless, was it in Arizona?
Yes, it was in Arizona.
Basically got out of treatment and we're like, fuck it, I'm not going back to Minnesota because there's nothing left for me because my girl is like done with me.
Yeah, I wanted to go back, but I couldn't manipulate my way back into the situation. So I took advice to go to sober living. But wasn't there for any of the right reasons. Thought that if I just did my gold star stuff right, read the big book, I could recite a few lines for you, go to a meeting a day, but it wasn't helping anybody else, was only going to meetings to check a box, would only call my sponsor to check a box, would half-ass all the work. And sure enough, I held on to that reservation that I could still drink again. And for me, you know, I later find out, because I relapsed quite a few times, that every time it usually starts with a drink, and then shortly followed by heroin. The other beautiful thing about being in a state that's right near the border and not Minnesota is heroin was much more readily available in Arizona than it was in Minnesota. When buying heroin in Minnesota,
though, didn't it?
Very different. Yeah, very different.
You knew that shit was heroin, right?
Immediately knew what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because heroin on the East Coast, you don't know it's heroin.
No. We had some like actual stuff in Minnesota. It would range from either the gray or you could get tar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
And in Arizona, the craziest thing to me was, so here's this guy in Minnesota. You would think that you were buying, I don't even know. It was like you would drive to a movie store, a video store, and he would say, put your 20 behind Grand Theft Auto and your sack will be behind, I don't know, some movie, right? In Arizona, you just call a guy and he says, be in this parking lot at 4:00. And then a bunch of guys run up to this Mexican's car in broad daylight and you get your heroin. And I was like, this is wild. Like, it's not even a process. It's on time. Like, this is crazy. So the more readily it was available, I'm grateful, because me getting to homelessness and bottoms happened a lot faster than I think it would have if I could kind of piece it together and just really stay in isolation like that.
Yeah.
Because in Minnesota at the end, I was just trying to stay well.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a job when you were in Minnesota, like working?
Yeah.
Doing
So
heroin and
sales jobs, very good at sales jobs, very good at manipulating that system, because I was playing amateur baseball. So there was always a reason that like around the June time I could go play ball, and like it just so happened I'd get fired, and like, fuck those guys. They don't understand me. And like, this is more important and all of that type of stuff. But it was all one big front. It's tough to stay at a job when your grandma dies twice and you have a flat tire, 3 times in 6 months, and you're gone for lunch, and you wouldn't believe the traffic accident that was in front of me. And it's very tough to keep a job at that rate.
When was it like the nail in the coffin for your relationship, like actually over?
For her?
Yeah.
when she sent the letter?
I think the letter was part of it. Now, luckily, after a little bit of homelessness in a year or two, I was like manipulating my way back, and I used the amends process, which is not what it's for.
Really good.
Yeah, what it's not for is for, but I used that process to make amends and kind of manipulate my way back. And she ended up taking me back. The wild part about this is I had ended up, then I put her through another relapse or two. And
or two, he said.
Yeah, or two. It's definitely two. The wild part is at the very end. So I fast forward to getting sober. It was me who actually had to separate from that relationship.
Wow.
Which was, it was with this person that I'd known my whole life, right? Grew up together, that type of deal. But I knew at this point I had a bigger purpose that I had to go pursue. And this person wanted, the white picket fence and to get married and like the kids and to start this process. But I knew I had God's calling for me was what I'm doing now. And I had to pursue this path.
Yeah. Which is way better for her as well.
Yeah. Because either I would have done that and not got to help people, and I would have been miserable and resentful.
And continue to, who knows if you would have actually been able to maintain your sobriety that you have today.
Yes.
Because you're coming up on, what, 5 years?
Yeah, in September.
September what?
15th.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So who says, in hindsight, you can play the card devil's advocate both ways. You might be continuously in and out because deep down in your heart that you were meant for something else and you're not doing it. So then you can pick up off of that because we are emotional creatures. And we pick up and use because we don't want to feel anything.
Exactly. And that was part of the reason every time I tried getting sober previous to that I think I failed, because I wasn't getting sober for any of the right reasons, for me to get closer to God, for me to help other people, for me to be a better person. I was getting sober and checking boxes so I could get things back in my life.
Right.
But the problem is when I check boxes of sobriety, what happens when I get exactly what I wanted? I stopped doing what it took to get sober in the first place because I already have it. Why do any more work?
Yeah.
And then I would immediately lose it.
Yeah. So then you end up deciding after your second relapse and being back together with her that you need to end the relationship and seek treatment. Did you end up going to? So
the last time I got sober, and I've been through, I have frequent flyer miles at certain detoxes. But the last time I got sober, I actually got sober in Minnesota on my mom's couch. I did not do it through treatment. It was, there was countless times where I was in like very dark places. When I was homeless, I remember one night where I was looking up at a street light, just, I didn't think I'd see another birthday. I didn't want to keep going. Which was, all in itself, I had all the reasons. I had all the reasons to want to die, right?
Sure.
I had lost the girl, lost the job, no car, no money, watching all my friends, progress with their life. I'm homeless. Everything's going wrong. So I had every excuse to want to die. Previous about 6 months to me getting sober this last time, I'd gotten out of treatment one last time. I went back to work. I worked at a big tech company. I had made the largest check there I'd ever made. I was making multiple six figures at this job. So I was doing well. And I had relapsed and went to a Holiday Inn, an extended stay, and it was COVID, so they couldn't bother you. And I would Uber my drug dealer to me every single day so I could track his ass when he was going to get there and get back. I was working from home, so I was still making money from the hotel. And that was the crazy experience to me that I think led to, my recovery later on. Was I had the girl back in my life. I had a car. I had an amazing job. I had all of the things when I was homeless. Mm-hmm. I said, these are the reasons I don't want to be sober, right? You would use too if you were like this. And here I am in this hotel room, Ubering my drug dealer to me, and I have all these things, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, like I'm the problem. Mm-hmm. I am spiritually broke. And I think that's what, you fast forward 6 months, I think was really the catalyst. Is I realized that this is 100% a Wade problem. This is 100%, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You don't have God in your life. You need something bigger and badder than you, because you are not it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could actually relate to a lot of the stuff that you say, because if I look back on all of my recoveries, I had never done it for myself. It was always for everybody else. My judge, my child, my wife, my this, my that. And this recovery that I have right now, everybody left, including my current wife. She left, and I was alone, and I was alone and in pain, like in detox. And my wife told me that I don't think that I'm going to be able to stay. And I remember the pain from that, her saying that. And I remember like crying out to God, like, I can't keep doing this to people, because it wasn't the fact that I was killing myself. It was the fact that I was hurting everybody that loved me. Everybody. My children. My son didn't want to talk to me. My daughter I have no idea where she was. My wife was done. My parents didn't want me around. I mean, they wanted me sober, but they didn't want anything to do with me. And then I was sitting there all alone, and I was like, God, I can't do this to another human being. I said, whether she stays, whether she goes, help me, so I don't keep hurting people, because the pain that I caused them causes me so much pain that I don't even want to live. And then I just want to jam stuff in there. That was the turning point in this recovery, and I haven't looked back. And I made a promise to God that I would spend my mornings with him every morning. And that has been very consistent for the last 8 years.
Which it goes back to exactly what you're saying. Is like, it takes everybody a very long time and all different types of bottoms and lows and stuff. But until we all come to the realization that nothing is going to fill that hole, we are the problem within ourselves, and we are spiritually bankrupt. We are searching for something that we think is going to be of like some type of tangible thing that is, once we get that, once we get the guy, once we get the girl, once we get the house, once we get the job, once we get this, I'm going to feel better, or I'm going to get well. It's never the case. Every single person that I've encountered, including my own experiences, it's like, it does not matter until you fill that hole. And to me, it's with God. You're never going to be well, and you're never going to be fulfilled, and you're never going to be satisfied, because we're hungry for that thirst that we need to get by seeking him. And it's crazy, because your story is perfect, because it literally, you get everything back. You get the girl, you get all the things, and you're in a Holiday Inn, for fuck's sake, looking at your Uber for your guy to come to you. It's like, what are you doing? And then and we have all of these types of instances, and he gets to his other low, and it's like, finally, Chad's the problem. God help me. Natalie's the problem. God help me. It's like, because we are not good. We do not do good running the show. And we're able to kind of keep up because we do sometimes are able to rally and get certain things that maybe the outside world is like, oh, yeah, they're getting things back together, back on track. But it's just a game. We're just fooling the people that we love. And then what happens? We usually end up alone, miserable, and wanting to take our own lives. And everybody that loves us wants nothing to do with us, which is horrible. Mm-hmm. And that's no way to live. And that's like not what God put us here to do in the first place. So it's like, it's such a sad, dark moment. But like a lot of people, what I feel bad about is a lot of people that are sick and are hurting and have the disease, they don't find that because it for whatever reason, they still think this, that, or the other, when it's really just finding a power greater than yourselves. That's what like we're sick with.
The whole point is to have an experience that brings you closer, to God. And unfortunately for a lot of people, they try to shortchange that process. And it's tough when the center of the root cause, right, is I'm selfish and self-centered.
100%.
Yeah.
And how do you break that? You can't. Mm-hmm. If you could break that, you would have broke that. Mm-hmm. That's where you need to have God and purpose in your life. And I am so grateful for that today and for everything that, I've gotten to do just because of God's grace. Because I don't deserve it.
How did you get there? How did you find him? Like from being, because especially people listening is like, there are a lot of people that have done the same thing, frequent flyer miles, into treatment, into detox.
Yeah.
And hearing someone like yourself, like how did you find that relationship, or how did you maintain or get to where you are today?
So it's crazy because I'm in that hotel and it's COVID. And I'm watching church online, and I go to a really big church in Chandler, and I love the church, but a massive church, and I knew they didn't have Celebrate Recovery, and I'm like in a nod and in and out, but I'm like, you guys should have Celebrate Recovery. I would love to start it there. And meanwhile, like I have no business starting any kind of recovery. I'm not sober.
Yeah.
And so I had gone to church. I would post something because I knew it would get me a lot of likes, right? Do all of the things, but at the end of the day, I treated God like Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. It's like, do you need me to do a Hail Mary? Do you need me to pray on my knees? Like, what do I have to do to hit a scratcher or to not get in trouble? Like, that's all I need you for. And when I got sober in my hometown in Minnesota, by the grace of God, he put me in a place not that I wanted to be, but where I needed to be. And this small town AA hall, there's one message, and it's God is the solution. And I remember talking the talk, and an old guy just called me out, just like, you're full of shit. And what do you mean? Like, fuck you don't know me. And he says, like, you can say all of these things about God, but I don't believe you have a relationship with God. And what ended up happening is he broke me down. After the meeting, I went and talked to him, and I just broke. I was like, how do you know? And what he had said is, I don't know what your vision of God looks like, whatever that you believe in. But I know that if God made heaven and earth, the birds and the bees, you and me and everything in between, don't you think he can take some 4-letter words out of your mouth? And I had never heard somebody say that to me before. Because the reality is when I treated God like Santa Claus, I treated him like a damning God, right? And everything I did was just a parrot prayer of, what do I have to say to get something? Mm-hmm. I didn't have an honest relationship with him. And now I'm not telling anybody to smite God or curse God or do anything like that. But what I'm telling you is I had to have an honest relationship for the first time with Jesus, which looked like, why did this person have to die? Why did I have to go to a group home? F you for this person not being there. F you for that person leaving. And what ended up happening is it was like that for a week, 10 days. But once I got it all out, I could realize that like Jesus was there working in my life the entire time, because all of these things that should have happened to me, even though the things I didn't like, all the things that should have happened that didn't, here I still was, having conversations with Jesus and in a place where like I still had a job. I still had the girl in my life. I still had all of these things that I did not deserve. And it also really got me to a point of like the proximity thing, like we talked about last time, is like he never left. He never left. I had turned my back on him as many times as I could, and he was right there waiting the entire time. And that's what I needed. I needed to have an honest conversation before I could build any type of relationship with him.
I love that. That's a smart. I love like the old timers that are able to like smack some sense into us, like little newbies coming in thinking that we know everything, because that's the thing is like if you read the big book, if you read any type of scriptures, like anybody can talk the talk. We're good at that. But it's like really like getting, and same with like the program of like actually doing like the steps and doing the work. It's all action, and it requires, it's not the best. I bitch and complain still, and I got a little bit of time, and I still complain about all the things that I have to do. But like I complain, but yet I do it because I like the effects. It's the same thing why you pick up and use in the first place, is because I like the results, or I used to like the results. And everybody's relationship with God is different, and that's what's great about it, is that it doesn't have to be like mine. The way that I talk to mine is going to be very different than the way that he talks to his and you talk to yours. But that's the whole point, is like it's our own relationship with a power greater than ourselves. And I think that's what's like awesome about like where I think AA, NA, and all the like 12-step programs got it right, because that's what I truly think your connection to a higher power is like your own relationship, as if you're talking to somebody that you think is the most loving and most nurturing and the most forgiving and all of the things, all the good things. That's God. Anything not true or anything false or anything bad, it's not him.
Thanks.
I talk to God so many different ways.
Me too.
Sometimes it's like very
God, why are you playing me right now?
sometimes it's very traditional, because like I grew up in the church, so, like a very conservative Christian religion, and sometimes I do like that traditional way. I like, because we always started like our prayers with Father in heaven, and that's how I always start like my traditional prayers. But sometimes I'm in the car and I'm like, bro, dude, I'm going through some shit.
Help me.
You're the only one. So that's where I'm at today. I'm like, I know that he's the only one. Sometimes, because it's funny, like sometimes I'm like, why is my life this way? Why have I? Because I don't like to say anything. I hate that thing about like imposter syndrome or whatever. I just sometimes wonder why God has given me so much to handle, and the answer is, I know the answer. The answer is because when things get too much for me to handle, like I really rely on him for the strength.
Yeah, and I look at it. Why not you?
Yeah, why not?
Why
me?
not you?
Yeah, why not me? But sometimes I feel like
overwhelmed.
I'm like, phew.
I'm drowning.
Yeah.
But that's when you go.
You sure I'm the guy? That's what I tell him.
But that's
I'm like,
why
are
he
you
does
sure?
it.
Last year was that year, man. I kept being like, are you sure that I'm the one that you want? Because I kind of feel like giving up right now.
But look what happened in the last year. What did you do? You've seeked him probably more than you have in quite some time.
Ever in my life.
And that is why. God will give you what you need. You just have to be willing to open your eyes and open your ears. And thank God he did. Because not for once, but more than normal.
Twice.
He reached
I reached deeper than I ever reached before. A lot of it was still, I kept, my relationship was, I don't think it was growing. It was staying stagnant, and I needed to dive a little deeper. And that's what it got me doing, is diving a little bit deeper into,
him,
really into like the word of God, because prior to that, I was just doing a traditional like NA type relationship with him, even though like my God's always been Jesus. It just that I had to really change the way I saw him, because my church made him seem that like he was going to punish me. And I don't think Jesus is punishing in any way, shape, or form, like at all. Quite the opposite of punishing, all loving.
Yes.
So I don't know where some of that stuff comes from. I
mean,
it does.
It comes from people.
It does.
It comes from people.
They
a lot of
ruin it.
times, when you're reading some of the things that Jesus says in the, like if you read, the book of Matthew, you read through there, some of the things that are written seem like, and could be interpreted as, well, if I shouldn't be doing this, but here's the thing: you shouldn't be doing this, but if you are doing this, He'll forgive you.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
For sure.
Like.
No matter what.
No matter what.
That's why He died on the cross.
And even if you do it every day and you're trying to get a little bit better every day, but if you ask Him to remove it,
yes,
He'll start to remove it. It may not be, sometimes it is, sometimes it's that, but sometimes it's, let's do this at a slower process so you really understand. You might have to feel some pain through it.
1,000%. I mean, it's like I say, it's sometimes more than you can handle, never more than He can handle, but always chasing your heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's exactly what we find in numerous different instances. I always think of the Kevin Hart skit where he's like, she's got the drop, my back's against the wall, help me.
Yeah.
Help me. And sometimes you got to do that,
Right.
It's like none of it's going right. They got the drop. My back's against the wall. Please help me.
Yes.
Like, I just need your help. But the reality is, if everything was going right, how soon would it be before I forgot
100%.
what I needed to get there?
And think about us. Our forget brain or forget mechanism is quite high.
Yeah.
It's higher than the normal, than the average person. Like the average person, if the average person felt the pain that all of us have felt, I don't know if they would make it through.
No.
Alive.
No.
Because the pain that I have gone through, and I'm sure you guys have experienced the same, because that's how we all can relate on such a high level. It's completely broken. Severe. And what's crazy is we kept punishing ourselves.
Knowing it.
Yeah.
How you talk about insanity and stuff. It's so true, because it's we're so much more than that, because we don't expect different results. Like he always says, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting something different. No, that's not actually accurate with us, because we totally go into all of our situations knowing what's to come,
what's gonna happen.
But yet we continue doing it. That's fucking insane.
That is crazy.
I knew it was gonna. The last time I picked up, I knew it wasn't gonna be any different. I know how it ends every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every fucking time, no different. But I was willing to suffer those consequences, which is fucking insanity. Because the consequences of the pain that I felt to get back into recovery was, this one, he didn't let me. This one was so painful. He's not gonna let me forget. I won't let me forget.
But that's why this is important.
Big time.
That's why you telling your story, me telling my story, or us just talking to individuals gone through the same kind of journey, is so that we don't forget ourselves. That's why it's so important to recover out loud, because if you don't talk about it, that's why I used to always kick and scream to my sponsor, not literally, but complain about going to meetings, because I never wanted to go to a meeting. But I understand now that I'm obviously older and been around the rooms a lot longer than initially going in, is because it's very important to, one, hear the person coming in with one day, as well as the old timer, and as well as just saying where you're at in your journey. Because if you're not talking about it, there is something that it does for us when you are actually saying something out loud, whatever that is. It's important, because if we don't, it's the same thing with anything. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's the same thing in recovery. If you're not talking about it or you're not actively doing it, we forget and we think that we're normal people and we can do this thing. No, we cannot.
That is the biggest reason, not only to give back to pick up sponsees and to, try to hear something or share some experience, but the biggest reason I have to go to meetings is because I don't ever want to forget I have this thing.
I know.
I think it's the saddest part is, I do a lot of TikToks and TikTok lives and stuff like that. And you get the haters once in a while that are on there of why don't you just move on? And I stopped 10 years ago and haven't thought about it since. No meetings, no anything like that. And personally, I just think how terrible is that? And what I mean by that really is you went through all the heartache, all the pain, blood, sweat, broken tears, broken dreams, all of it just to move on from it and not help someone, not use all of that crap that you had to go through to help someone else out. Like, what a waste of that experience to help someone else out.
I have a hard time believing them that they
Well, they're not in a recovery.
have been through the pain that we've been through, because if you had been, or maybe they just have zero purpose.
They're a dry drunk though, to me, because it's like they're still in pain.
Well, if they're on there talking negative on your fucking thing where you're helping people, then that in and of itself tells me everything.
Yeah.
Everything. That's where you
Thanks for consuming.
Yeah. Keep coming back.
Coming back.
Because that's where I never want to be. I've been there too. I've been there with 4 years of sobriety and not in a good place. And it's just a testament of like, you got to work at this thing every single day. All we all have is this 24 hours. And that's what's important, is because, or you can be that guy online leaving a negative comment to somebody that actually is sober and doing the deal.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Do you ever go online and leave negative comments?
Never, not once.
Never?
Never, not once.
I don't really either. I sometimes put my opinion on pages that have nothing to do with recovery, though, like just silly stuff. I did say something.
Wait, are you outing yourself that you live in negative comments right now?
So like Tucker Carlson had put something negative on his social media about rehabs. And
oh, really? Saying that they're dumb?
That they're dumb and they're no good.
Why?
And they're all just about making money.
Are they, Tucker? Because I'm pretty sure that he is in
recovery.
Yeah, I know, but he's never been to an AA meeting until the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So before you talk about a treatment facility.
So I did leave. I left my opinion on there. I said I love you, Tucker. I'm just outing myself right now on politics.
Why? It's not politics, because it's his
sobriety. Oh, if you like Tucker Carlson, you are.
I like Tucker.
Definitely not a lefty. Just gonna.
Now you're making it about. But anyways, give your. What did you leave? What was the comment?
I said I love you, Tucker, but I completely disagree with you on this one. There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of good things, and a lot of people are finding recovery because of treatments.
Now I want to go find it, because I'll leave one too, because I like Tucker a lot, and he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
He did have a problem at one point.
Yeah. Now, I don't like people saying bad stuff about that's what I do for a living. This is what I do for a living. And
but there's a lot of
has it been an amazing living? Yes it has, because you know what, I can promise you that thousands of people's lives have changed because of the work that we do, and out of those 1,000 people, every single one of them have affected many people. And you start adding that all up, I've done some good in this world because of the treatment centers that
God has done some good in this world by using you.
By using me, yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
And you've been able to just facilitate it.
Yeah. It's always God. It's always God. It's not me.
Natalie's like my sponsor every time I get a sober birthday. It's like, great job. You had nothing to do with it.
You just showed up.
Just go help
showed up. I mean, truthfully.
Well,
so
great job. You had nothing to do with it.
It's not true though. You have to show up.
Yes. Of course, and you have to be willing.
Yep, and you have to be willing to do and to even like put in the work and the time that it takes to have a relationship with God.
Because it's not easy.
Because we could all sit here and do this, and not have God as the CEO of our lives, and we could show up every day, and we could take full credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we probably could build something, but the part that we wouldn't have is we wouldn't have the inner peace. And that's the one thing that I was searching for my whole entire life.
For sure.
Not money, not clout. I thought it was all those things. Not ego, not girls. I always thought it was girls. If I had just the, just that.
That bomb one.
Yeah.
That bomb one.
That
one. And then I got her. And then what?
And then what?
Put a needle back in your arm.
Put a needle back in my arm.
And
that's that easy.
That's my experience. I mean, even different than, and actually this can happen in sobriety too. I see it like you have to be really on guard about it. But I have this disease inside and out,
every day.
I can go get the brand new BMW, the X7M, just like I want it.
Yes.
And that for some reason, after 3 days, I pull out of a parking lot and I see a new G-Wagon and I go, why don't I get that?
Yep.
And instantly, everything I thought was, this is my dream car, dream color, everything like that, goes right out the window for something else that I'm going to chase. And you find that exact game is you are never going to be whole.
No.
Never. That's what's sickening about
it is
the
a
disease.
God-sized hole.
I had it all. All. Everything you could ever have said was it.
Never know.
I was alone.
Yeah.
And I stuck a needle back in my arm.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's a terrible place. No good.
It's hard to get fucking sober after that too, man.
I couldn't imagine.
It's really, really hard.
But it's powerful because how many other people were just like you who either own
Or
a center
how many people use it as an excuse to
Yeah.
not get sober?
To not
never
get
get
It's like,
sober.
fuck it. Where it's like, no, it doesn't matter. There's so many people that we've all stumbled. Like, you don't have to. You can be one and done. You can go to treatment for the first time and never
Yeah.
again. There are people, and I've heard stories where they
And our hats are off to them.
Yes, I wish that I was one.
It's not our story.
It's not. I had to, take my will back a lot of times. Where not this time, not this last run. I hope this is my last one because I don't got another one, and neither does he. And I can say that for a fact. I can. God, I'm right. But what was it on you that placed on your heart to start Plugged In?
So, before I went to treatment to Arizona the first time, I knew I was running out of time and I needed help. So
How old were you when you got sober?
So this last time I was 30, right?
Okay.
But I was 25 when
Sure.
I was kind of trying to get sober. And I had reached out to some Google AdWord of treatment, and the phone guy picks up and he doesn't ask me who I am, anything about me. It's just, what's my drug of choice? None of this stuff, and which I found out now is actually pretty standard stuff. But it was first name, last name, birthday, what insurance do you have? You can go here, which was like it was like Tennessee, Florida, and Texas. It was three weird states. And I was like, no. Like, I'm getting married. Like, I need to stay here in Minnesota. And he's like, well, you can go here, here, here. And like, the reality of this thing is I didn't seek treatment because he wasn't willing to help me. Later on, I find out through like the process that I wouldn't even really been able. I think he was going to sign me up for something to get me to one of these places. Sure. But I, at that time, was like, I don't want anybody to go through that, to not feel like a person, like they matter, and what they struggle with, it matters. It's just a number, insurance policy, whatever it is. And so I ended up in Arizona, and then kind of seeing that other people had similar experiences. Sure. And so the idea of Plugged In Recovery kind of started from that. And the wild part is I started Plugged In Recovery, the LLC, as a Delaware company. I was really good at the time of building, because I was in some digital marketing, so I could build, Instagram and Facebook. Sure. I was really good at Facebook. So we were able to build a following on there. The problem is when I started it, I was in a meth psychosis. Looking up that Delaware company would save me the most taxes, I guess, if it was an online company. So like none of it made sense later on. But I started it as this company to help people find treatment. And I thought that was one of my schemes to get sober, was like, I'm going to start this. They say to give back. So I'm going to start this company and I'm going to help a lot of people. And
get plugged
in turn, it's going to get me sober. But the reality of it, and that's why treatment and stuff is so important, because you need to dry out for a period of time. You need to get ripped away from the drug, so you have a chance to really look at yourself and work through some things. But when I started Plugged In Recovery in 2018 was the LLC. It was just an online community. Here I have people, as I'm growing these pages out, I grew the Facebook page to like 20,000 people, and it was like, you're helping me so much. And in my room, I'm crying. I'm like, I can't even help myself,
Wow.
But it became a joke. When I went to the next treatment center, it became a joke that was like, oh, don't you have that recovery page? How's that working out? And it's really cool to see that a lot of people in that treatment center now work for me.
Wow.
But it's because the program was so good.
Yeah.
And they're amazing people, and it was an amazing program that really believes in the 12 steps.
Yep.
We've mixed it with a lot of modern things to kind of up that. But
I mean, we've been to your facility. It's amazing.
Bomb.
Is that why you ended up going ahead and doing Plugged In Recovery out in Arizona? Is because that's where you ended up seeking treatment and went to treatment in the first place, even though you got sober technically in your hometown?
Yeah, the goal is always to bring something back to Minnesota.
Okay.
I would love to do that one day. I need to have enough money to know that I can be in Arizona and live there, because nobody wants that winter in Minnesota, but they have a desperate need for it up there, and I would really, really like to start something up there. It's always been a dream of mine to have a program that's ran up there, similar to the one that we have started. Yeah. But the other thing is I knew I could pick the best people from all the treatment centers around me when I started the treatment center. But the sober living side, which is how we got our start, really was just based on that. It was the same thing. I had been through a lot of sober livings. Mm-hmm. Some looked like trap houses that I had stayed in right before I got high or got sober. Other ones were, good, just the good program, but I didn't really like the level of the house that they were in, and I couldn't really relate to any of them. The people that were in there just, on dating apps all day and okay with a 20-hour work week at, McDonald's and stuff. And if you work at McDonald's, there's definitely a place for you and everything like that. I'm not shitting on employees. Everybody has to get a good, well job. But the reality is that like I wanted a place for someone like me. Yeah. So then when I had got this first sober living going, really that's when God started working in my life. It was the worst time to buy a house in the state of Arizona. Thankful for all the California people who came to Arizona and were buying houses left and right. Right. But God was working, because there was this one house, and I really, really wanted it because I knew the layout was perfect for sober living. And sure enough, some Californian came out and put a cash offer in it that was higher than what I was going to get. So I ended up going back home to Minnesota and out to North Dakota to see some family. And I was just heartbroken, because I was like, this was the house. You don't understand. And I got back to Arizona and got a call from my realtor that said they're arguing over a roof, and I think the deal's going to fall apart. Do you want to still get your offer in on this house? And I ended up getting that house, and I believe that's God working in my life, just telling me to be a little bit more patient and trust the process, because I think Old Wade might have folded under that instance. But 1 turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 4, turned to me quitting my very stable, good job, which turned into 9, and then turned into 12, and then 13, and then 14, and the treatment center and the outpatient center now today. It's been a really cool story that I've just got to be a part of the ride. Yeah. It's God putting the right people in my life at the right times. It's grateful that it took me all the years that it did to get sober, because most of the people that I tried getting sober with in those initial years all started working at treatment centers and in the space and BD reps and things of that nature. So they were able to just fill my sober livings at the beginning, and they were all just my homies. I got to work with my friends, and I got to be a part of the community. And then I just pop into this ASRA meeting one day, and they asked me to be the president of this organization. And I have 1 month old of a sober living, and just all these places that I find myself every day just saying like, I have no business being in any of this, but like clearly I do, because clearly God keeps showing up and putting me in these situations. And anytime that I consistently feel something that's like in my stomach or on my heart, I can only deny it a couple of times before I know like, this is him. Yeah. This is him pulling me in that direction.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And now your dad, we got to meet your dad, and he works with you too, right?
He does. My dad is an animal, absolute animal. He's an all-star. It's funny.
Get in the van.
Get in the van.
Get in the van. Damn it.
His dream job, he always told me, was driving the druggy buggy. So he gets to do that today. He also runs the majority of our sober living houses. What is really funny to see, because he runs the houses, and he isn't that hard today in comparison to what I see, right? But he goes to like the house meetings, and they like fear him. If he says something, they do it, which is wild, because I'm just like, dude, could you picture him 30 years younger and methed out? Because that's what I grew up with. Right. Like you're scared of him now,
right?
But yeah, it's like his voice back then. I'm like, dude, you were terrified of this man.
Sure.
But no, it's amazing. I get to work with him every single day. We get to talk about it. We're working on some boundaries in the office, the outpatient office. He still looks at me as a son sometimes. Sure. And, I have a meeting going on, and he walks in, and I'm like, hey, we're in a meeting. And he's just like, oh, great. And then proceeds to tell me what he has to say. It's like, just does not give a fuck at all. So you got some of those struggles, but I wouldn't give it up for anything. It is the coolest thing ever that this person I resented for so long that had the solution the whole time, and just wanted it, which I can't imagine as a parent, just like wanting to give that on a silver platter of like, no, this is what works. But I had to have my path and my relationship with God before I was able to share that with anybody else.
For sure. And like, that's just like a testament to look what God can rebuild and restore and all of a sudden renew. Because at one time you were in foster care because your parents are fighting. Your dad's a meth addict. He finds recovery. You don't. You fall in the depths of addiction yourself. He has to let you be and figure it out. And then now I'll fast forward to where you're at today. You guys have sober livings. He works essentially for you.
Yeah.
You guys, from what we saw, have a great relationship. He's in recovery, sober. You're in recovery, sober, giving back. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, we're starting a CMA meeting next Thursday at a different treatment center. We're bringing in an H&I, just me and him together.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
You know, getting active, getting busy, it's fun. We get to talk recovery.
Great.
He doesn't try to sponsor me. He lets me work my own program, but we get to kick ideas and stuff off each other all the time. It's really cool.
God is good.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well, thanks for coming in, Wade.
And let us know how we can, like, Arizona's right there. My brother lives in Arizona. Gives me excuse to get out there, see him.
Yeah.
However we can help your guys' spots, do something. I don't know.
Yep.
We're down.
I hope we partner up a lot more.
Yeah.
I hope we can partner on something out down there. That would be amazing.
We should bring a Recover Out Loud meeting out there. Something, you know?
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
We'll show up and show out. But it's cool. It's, you know, you talk about your comeback story. Obviously, you had an incredible comeback story. And that's just what I would want to leave everybody with.
Oh, yeah. That's the question I want to. Yeah. Is literally, I have 2 questions for you. Okay. One is, if you could change one thing about the recovery industry tomorrow, what would it be?
Insurance having a chokehold on how long people can stay.
Ooh.
I think that is the number one piece that's wrong is you have insurance companies with such a chokehold on the care and quality of people, and their only job is to pay the least amount of money for the care and check boxes, when in actuality, if we could keep someone for 90 days, that might be a 190-day stay, then 6 different 30-day stays over the course of 3 years where they're running amok in people's lives. And kind of like you said, where you just wanted to stop hurting people and letting people down. Like, that's how I felt, is there's nothing worse than building people up just to pull the rug out under their feet and like absolutely letting everything crash.
Right.
So it would be that. And I don't know necessarily what that looks like, right? I'm not God. I can't control those kind of programs, but that would be the thing, is people need longer stays in treatment, period.
I agree with that. And then last question is, it's kind of twofold a little bit, but when you look back on like just your career, your journey, and where you're at today, what's the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Just that every person I touched creates a ripple in other people's life. That is our Plugged In's mission, is we want to create a ripple effect in the recovery community, and spark that going forward. I believe that, you know, AA and traditional treatment works. It's been around for a long time, and it succeeds at a very high rate when you work it, just like you started the show with. But the reality is that there's a lot of modern things that people are going to want nowadays. Technology, cell phones, nice amenities, social media, things of that nature, like you guys are on with podcasts and Recovering Out Loud and in the different events. So it's just, how can we create a legacy of changing the treatment industry, changing how people look at recovery and mental health, to really make a positive impact around the United States and then hopefully globally.
I love that. Amazing.
I'm going to say one last thing, since Natalie said whatever she said and did. You know, I continue to stay inspired when I get to meet guys like you because you know, I've been doing this for so long that it can be tiring. And then I, you know, as you were talking and answering those questions that Natalie asked you, it made me reflect a little bit on myself and like, how do I continue doing this? Because I'm not even close to done, you know, not even close.
No.
And like, I've been in this industry for 25 fucking years.
OG.
You know, and it's nice to hear somebody so excited about the future of the industry, because like, I got to stay excited. You know, you got to stay excited. That's how we continue doing this. Stay excited. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, you've got our respect over here, and we love your treatment centers plugged in. Your facilities are amazing, top notch in Arizona.
Sick.
I'm sure your sober livings are top notch and crushing it too. So yeah, man, thank you.
I love you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much.